Most people think early retirement is only for millionaires or financial geniuses. They imagine exotic islands, a giant portfolio, and a life that's completely out of reach. But here's the truth. Some people are quietly getting closer to retirement every single day, not by working harder, but by doing a few specific things, consistently. They're not chasing some fantasy lifestyle. They're building a simple, sustainable one that works on their terms. And chances are, you might already be further along than you realize. So in this video, we're going to break down 7 quiet signs that you're actually on track to retire earlier than most, even if no one around you sees it coming. Let's begin. Sign 1. You've killed your biggest monthly expense. Ask most people what's keeping them from early retirement, and they'll mention something vague, like needing more money or not feeling ready. But the people who've actually run the numbers? They'll point to one specific thing: the mortgage. For the average American household, housing eats up nearly a third of monthly expenses. So when you eliminate that payment or even cut it in half, the entire equation changes. You no longer need a massive retirement portfolio to live comfortably. Your required income shrinks, your safety buffer grows, and your timeline to freedom gets a whole lot shorter. Quietly wealthy people know this. They aren't just focused on earning more, they're focused on needing less. And owning your home outright is one of the most underrated financial power moves you can make. Because once you've killed your mortgage, you've also killed the pressure to earn at all costs. Suddenly, part-time work feels doable. Sabbaticals don't seem so risky. You start thinking in options, not obligations. If your house is paid off, or almost there, you're not just ahead. You're in a completely different game, one where early retirement becomes a real, tangible option, not just a distant dream. Sign 2. You understand the power of your savings rate. Everyone loves to talk about how much they make: 6 figures, multiple income streams, side hustles on autopilot. But the truth is, your income means nothing if your expenses grow right alongside it. Quietly wealthy people don't just earn well, they save intentionally. And not just a little. We're talking 30, 50%, sometimes even 70% of their income. Because they understand this. Your savings rate is the fastest lever you can pull if you want to retire early. It's not about some magical income threshold. It's about how much of what you make you actually keep. In fact, if you save 50% of your income, you could theoretically retire in 14 to 15 years, even if you started with nothing. That's not theory, it's math. Most people don't know this. They think retiring early requires millions. But if your lifestyle is lean, your income is stable, and your savings rate is high, you're on the fast track, whether it feels like it or not. And here's the kicker. Once you internalize this concept, it changes how you see everything. You stop chasing lifestyle upgrades and start chasing freedom. You optimize for flexibility, not flash. And every dollar you don't spend becomes a vote for an earlier exit from the 9-to-5 grind. If this is how you think already, you're way ahead of the curve. Sign 3. You've built income streams beyond your job. Most people rely on a single source of income, their 9-to-5 paycheck. It's predictable, sure, but it's also fragile. One job loss, one bad boss, one economic downturn, and suddenly everything's on the line. But if you've built other ways to earn money, even small ones, you're operating on another level. Maybe it's rental income that covers your housing costs. Maybe it's a digital product or side business that brings in money while you sleep. Maybe it's dividend payments from investments you've been quietly building for years. Whatever it is, it means you're not 100% dependent on a single employer to survive. And here's why that matters. Income diversification gives you options. Options to say no. Options to walk away. Options to retire earlier than the system says you should. Even if these income streams don't fully replace your salary yet, they act as financial shock absorbers. And when they start covering 60%, 70%, or even 80% of your current expenses, that's when the retirement math gets a lot easier and faster. The rich don't just save well, they build income that works without them. And if you're already on that path, you're a lot closer to freedom than you think. Sign 4. You've stacked enough to buy back decades. Most people aim for retirement in their mid-60s because that's what they've always been told. But if you've already saved 20 times your annual expenses, you're not getting ready, you might already be there. The traditional rule says you need 25x your yearly expenses to safely withdraw 4% a year and never run out. But even that is often more conservative than necessary. And with newer data and more diversified investments, many people are discovering that 20x is enough to buy back decades of freedom. If your living costs are $50,000 a year and you've got a portfolio nearing or past $1 million, you're in striking distance, or maybe already over the line. And here's the wild part. While everyone else is chasing a magic number, you're quietly sitting on a nest egg that could already carry you through. The question now isn't, do I have enough? It's, what would I actually do with the time I've bought? Because once the math checks out, the only thing left holding you back is your mindset. Sign 5. You're healthy, and you actually have plans for life after work. There's a hidden cost to waiting too long to retire, and it's not financial. It's your health. If you're in good shape today, with the energy, mobility, mental clarity to enjoy your life, that's not something to take for granted. Most people plan to retire in their 60s, only to find their bodies can't do what their younger selves dreamed about. The hiking trips, the long flights, the startup they always wanted to build, they fade, not because of money, but because of time. But here's the second part most people forget. Health is only half the equation. The other half is purpose. Do you have something, anything, you're excited to do after work ends? People who retire too early without a plan often get bored, restless, even depressed. But the ones who thrive are the ones who have hobbies, projects, adventures, or passions already baked into their life. They're not retiring to nothing. They're retiring into something. So if you're healthy and you already have a sense of what comes next, you're not just ready to leave work, you're ready to actually live. Sign 6. Work doesn't feel worth the trade anymore. At some point, the math starts to shift, and it's not about dollars. You start waking up tired, even if you slept 8 hours. You go to meetings that feel pointless. The promotions don't excite you. The grind doesn't scare you. It just bores you. Or worse, it drains you in ways that a paycheck can't fix. If your finances are already in decent shape, that growing discomfort at work isn't something to ignore. It's a signal, a quiet whisper that says, you've done enough. It's time to stop trading your energy for income you no longer need. Because here's the truth. Staying in a job that feels soul-sucking just to be responsible can quietly rob you of your best years. Chronic stress compounds, not just emotionally, but physically. And many people end up spending their early retirement recovering from burnout, not enjoying freedom. If work is starting to feel like a weight instead of a purpose, and your money says you could leave, it might be time to listen. Sign 7. You've already done what you set out to do. Maybe you climbed the ladder. Maybe you built something you're proud of. Maybe you reached the title, the income, or the impact you always dreamed of. And now, there's nothing left that truly excites you. That's not failure. That's completion. One of the clearest signs you're ready to retire early is when your drive isn't fueled by ambition anymore. It's fueled by routine. You've stopped growing. You've stopped learning. You're just checking boxes, waiting for some magic milestone that says, now it's okay to leave. But here's the secret. If your goals are met and your money's in order, you don't need permission. You already won the game. Now you get to choose whether you keep playing. Early retirement isn't about escaping work. It's about recognizing that the chapter you're in might be over and that you're free to start writing a new one. Most people will grind it out until 65, not because they have to, but because they've never paused to ask if they still want to. But if you're showing even a few of these signs, no mortgage, high savings rate, income streams beyond your job, real clarity about what matters, you might already be quietly earning your way out. And here's the thing no one tells you. Early retirement isn't a finish line. It's just a new level, a quieter one, a freer one where time becomes the reward, not just the currency. So take a hard look at where you are, not where society says you should be, not what your 25-year-old self imagined, but right now. And if the signs are all pointing in the same direction, it might be time to stop waiting and start designing what life looks like after work. And if you're wondering how to actually pull it off, watch this next video. How to save 10K so fast it feels illegal. It breaks down the habits, systems, and mindset shifts that fast-track your savings and give you the freedom to walk away sooner.